Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving you my review for The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 8, which was titled For Blood. So this episode was good. I would say the best episode this season. Does that mean it's perfect? No, I still have some issues. I think my issues with it aren't even specific to the episode itself. It's more so just the season as a whole. And so it's kind of just bogged down because of that. But I think it's definitely on its own one of the better episodes of this season, and not just because of the action. Like, yeah, the action was nice to see. There was some decent things here and there with that. I just think some of the character stuff with specifically Daryl, Leah, even Judith had a little bit here and there, was all really good, right? But at the end of the day, I do think it still suffers from pretty much every other episode this season, where if it just had a bigger budget, I think everything would be done a lot cleaner and better. And I think the simple way to do that would just be to have less episodes in each season. I was never a fan of that. I always told people who said that the show should have less episodes per season, I was always like, no, there's no way they can do that. But a few less episodes, like maybe instead of doing like 16 per season, do like 13 or 14. I think you could save a lot of money. And you can put that money towards other episodes, and you can kind of work it all in. And you can do that because there's no way there's a lot of scenes here and there that could definitely be cut short. And you can tell they could fit this into a smaller season, at least in my opinion. So that's just one solution, I guess, to that, because you can't make money appear out of thin air. You know, if the show's not bringing all of it in, it is what it is. But on its own, with what it was trying to do, this episode was still, I would say, pretty damn good. It focused on two different stories. It had the stuff at Alexandria with walkers attacking the house. They only really focused on the one house in Alexandria, which, I mean, it kind of was similar to like No Way Out in a way, but No Way Out was a bunch of different people across Alexandria, whereas this just was one little house in Alexandria, and that was it. And then you also had the stuff at Meridian, where Maggie, Negan, Elijah, and Gabriel were essentially trying to get the walkers to attack the base so they can go in and sneak in, steal food, and basically kill everyone. That's basically their goal, is to just kill everyone. And I enjoyed pretty much a lot of that. There was some things here and there that I felt like could have done better, but the reason why it's so hard to even talk about this episode is because it wasn't the complete episode. This is not really a spoiler, but you guys will see what I mean when we get there. But this storyline does not end here. I'll just say that. There is more we're gonna see for pretty much everything that was going on. It's definitely like a two-parter type thing, kind of like what they like to do for a lot of, you know, season finales into season premieres. They like to do it as two-parters. They did that for No Way Out. They did that for Negan's introduction. They would leave you on like a cliffhanger, and the next episode they're like, oh, the story's going to continue from there. I'm not really against that as much as other people are. I do think it takes away the momentum of what you're trying to build up, but I'm not like, oh, this is the worst thing ever because of the cliffhanger. I don't really feel that way usually. Sometimes I feel that way, like for the Negan cliffhanger, but this one I was okay with. It does feel a little gimmicky, a little bit cheap in the way they did it, especially because I know it's not going to go the way that they think we're going to think it's going to go. I can't really say much more about it without spoiling things, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But as a whole, the episode did have some good action. It had some good shots. I do think it still has some of that Walking Dead problem that it had for the past couple seasons, where I feel like a lot of the action's cut short. They're showing a lot of cool stuff, and it's like, oh, this looks really great, and then they just cut it after like 2 seconds, and you're like, oh, that's it? And you just want more. You're just asking for more, essentially. That's usually what I find myself asking a lot, is I just want more. That's really the main thing I complain about, is like, give me more, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion, though. A lot of people are satisfied with it, and that's completely fine. I was satisfied with the episode. I always want more. And that's something that I don't think I usually get for a lot of different things. Like a lot of movies, I usually don't ask for more. I'm usually like, oh, this is pretty good the way it is. But this one, I'm like, I want more. Maybe it's because I love the show so much, so I just want it to be as perfect as it could possibly be. And I know it's never going to be perfect, but it can at least get close to being there. And I think this episode succeeds in kind of building up, or being a bit of a payoff for the buildup that we recently got for the past season. I just think this probably should have came a little bit sooner than episode 8. This probably could have happened episode like 5 if they, sped the pace of the story up a little bit from the past 8 episodes, and I think we could have gotten here a lot sooner, and this maybe would have been a little more exciting if it happened like 3 or 4 episodes ago as opposed to happening now. Well, maybe not 3 or 4 episodes, but a couple episodes ago at least, maybe 1 or 2. I know they like to make the big episodes mid-season finales, but you really don't have to do that. It's not like there's no rule where they have to make the big episodes the season finales. You could make them any episode and it could work just fine. And that's why I always say, if they write the story in a way that's like trying to center around a specific number of episodes, you're gonna get to a point where they're either gonna have to rush things or have a lot of filler. Either rush things or slow it down. Which is why I think they should just do however many episodes they need. If they write the story and they say, oh, this story would fit in 15 episodes, then do 15 episodes. If the story would fit in 30 episodes, then do 30 episodes. You should do the amount of episodes that would fit with the story. I know that doesn't really work with AMC because they want to know ahead of time, like, oh, we need to do this specific amount of episodes, so we know how many episodes we have to pay for and how many episodes we're going to have for, the show's length, so we can get as many people watching as possible for as long as possible. But I think it fits better with the story if they just write the story, however many episodes it is what they do. If it ends up being 13 episodes and that's the only amount of episodes they can possibly do for the story, then that's it. Don't add 3 more random episodes just to make it 16. Just leave it at that. And this season, of course, is just 8 more than usual 16, which makes it seem like it's going to be like 2 seasons basically, which is fine with me. And we still have a whole season worth of content left, which is great, 16 more episodes. But I don't know what they're going to do to wrap it all up. We didn't see any Commonwealth in this episode, which wasn't a big deal, but I liked it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I do think there are enough positives to the point where it deserves a 9 out of 10. Most of my complaints, like I said, are just season-wide complaints. In terms of individually, the episode has a lot of strong character moments, has a lot of good action, and it does feel like a decent payoff for the season. Decent payoff. I don't think it was the best payoff we could have gotten. Again, I think it just if it came sooner, it would have been even better, but 9 out of 10 is a really damn high score, so let's get into spoilers now. That was probably the longest non-spoiler review I've ever did, but first of all, let's talk about the stuff in Alexandria, because that stuff was probably the least exciting of the episode compared to the Meridian stuff, but it was still good. I just think it could be even better next episode, because next episode seems to be kind of showing a lot more, just based on, I didn't see any promos or anything for it, but because, the walkers were only starting to attack by the end of this episode in Alexandria, it kind of goes to show that assuming they're going to get out of there by having to kill walkers, we might get a No Way Out like situation where they have to go through the walkers and actually take them out, like hand to hand like they did in No Way Out, which I hope we get something like that. I hope we get a badass scene like that again. But this episode did still have some good stuff. Again, it felt like that, prior to No Way Out type episode where the characters were just kind of dealing with walkers slowly breaching and such, and they kind of were just talking. And I think the Judith stuff was the best, where you had Judith talking to Gracie, and Gracie was like trying to basically be like Judith. You had a really good scene with Judith and Virgil, where Virgil was basically saying that Michonne is still with you because you have taken a lot of Michonne's like morals and even just physical abilities to heart, because she, got the katana. Virgil was saying that she kind of reminds her of Michonne and stuff. They had a good moment there. I like that. And I still want him to mention Rick in some way, because I want everyone else to hear about Rick. I'm sure we'll get that by the next season at some point. And you had that one walker that grabbed Gracie at that one scene, and, Judith sliced off the hand. Like, that was a cool scene. Rosita went outside to kill some walkers, and I really loved that scene, but I was so disappointed that they only showed Rosita killing walkers for maybe 3 seconds. Like, it was a 25-second scene maybe, and I think they showed Judith's face for like 18 of those seconds and only had a couple of seconds of actually showing Rosita killing walkers. It's like, I'm here to watch walker killing. I mean, they treat us like we don't give a shit about watching walkers dying, but like, that's one of the most enjoyable parts of the show, to be honest. Like, there's a reason why episodes like No Way Out are some of the most exciting episodes ever, because we see people going through and just hacking up walkers for like hours upon hours. It's fun to watch. I want to see it. But unfortunately, they only show it for like 4 seconds, and then Rosita comes back inside. It's a badass scene. It's really cool. But show us more. Why do you gotta cut it short like that? I don't know. I don't even think that was a budget thing, to be honest, because the way they shot it seemed like they shot more with Rosita but for some reason they just only showed a couple seconds of it. I know why they were showing Judith's face. They wanted us to see Judith's reaction to it because the actress does a great job of giving a reaction to it, but you didn't have to show her face for 18 seconds. You could have done that for 4 seconds and it would have had the same effect. You know, you don't have to linger on Judith's face. We know what she looks like. We know her reaction. It doesn't like change as the scene's going on. It's the same face that she's making. We only need to see it for 4 seconds. Show Rosita killing walkers for the rest so we can really get a good feel of the badassery from Rosita, but most of it was just hearing her slicing them up, and I don't know. I just wanted to see more of it. That's all I'm really asking for. It was still a good scene. And then you had the whole thing wrap up by them kind of moving in to the upstairs, but Judith and Gracie getting stuck in the basement when the basement's flooding. Like, a cool setup there. Hopefully plays out nicely in the next episode. And then they also had all the other characters, like I believe you had Aaron, Carol, Connie, Kelly, and a bunch of others. They were, I don't know what they were doing, but they were going out in Alexandria to do something. I must have just forgot, but they were doing something. And they didn't show them at all after that, which was a little disappointing. I kind of wanted to see what they were up to, but I'm sure we'll get to see that next episode. But I do feel like this episode could have been longer too. Like, they could have fit a lot of things that are probably going to happen in episode 9 in this episode, and I think it would have worked even better maybe. I don't know, they're pretty scared to do long episodes. They haven't done many long episodes in a while. They don't really extend them anymore. They used to do a lot of those, where a season 7, for example, had like a bunch of hour-long episodes. It was crazy, but they just don't do those much anymore, which is unfortunate because I do like it. Which I'm sitting here saying they should make the show shorter, but in the same length, I'm like, I would like to see more. But I want to see more good stuff, though. If you're just going to extend it just to show characters walking around, which is usually what they do, then I'm against that. But if you're going to extend it to show more enjoyable, entertaining stuff, then yeah, do it. I don't care. You just have to make it that way rather than just having characters walking around for so long. It's like horror movies. Like, I love horror movies, I love slashers, but they are notorious for having like long scenes of characters just walking, and it's like, okay, we get it. We get it. Yeah, it was enjoyable, but I would say the Meridian stuff was even better. So the stuff at Meridian, it was a pretty decent battle. I do think it would have been 20 times better if they had more people involved. And I mean, this is something you'd have to do from the get-go, really. You couldn't even do this without having that be the case already. You would have to have had a lot more Alexandrians be involved in this thing from the start, because they've been on the road since the first episode of the season, really. So I just think more people involved would have made this more exciting, because there was literally only 4 of our survivors plus Daryl involved, and then you had the Reapers and Leah and all them, and I just think it could have been more intense if there was just more people there. But as it was still a pretty entertaining little fight that went on. It obviously was mainly just them trying to herd the walkers to the gates, and Maggie was trying to get inside in order to get a car so she could ram the gate and let all the walkers in, and she actually succeeded in this. It took a while because there was mines and stuff in the fields, which I thought was really cool. They kept blowing up the walkers and stuff, and that made the situation a little bit more intense. And I was actually fearing for Elijah a lot. I wasn't fearing for Negan. Obviously, he's not going to die. Maggie's not going to die. Gabriel, I wasn't 100% sure. But Elijah got kind of messed up. Negan did too, with some of the shards of the mines at one point. And I thought that was cool. It was a good little way to make the situation more intense. And that was definitely necessary, in my opinion. You got to make these situations more intense. It makes it all the more exciting. Having Daryl finally reveal himself to Leah was great. I like how that one scene he killed the one dude. He was like giving him a cigarette and he like stabbed him up in the neck. I thought that was a really great scene. And then he obviously saw Maggie and Gabriel get inside. Gabriel went for the sniper rifle and had a nice little scene there with the sniper rifle. But with Daryl and Leah, one of my favorite scenes in the episode was when he was revealing that, yes, my people are out there. I like this for Daryl's character because it shows a sense of vulnerability to Daryl. Some people are going to say it's bad because it's a bad character decision, but we're not perfect. We don't always make the best decisions in our lives, and I don't think Daryl should be this perfect person who always gets everything right. So I was really happy to see him make a mistake. This was an actual mistake from him where he told Leah pretty much everything and said, yes, those are my people. I have to protect them, so I can't let you do this. We should probably kill Pope, and he was hoping that she would come with him, and at first it seemed that way, but because she did help, she helped kill Pope, but that was for her own gain. That was just so she can take over Meridian with the Reapers because she thinks Pope is just too far gone. He doesn't care about the people. He just wants to win the war, and she doesn't like that. She wants her family to be protected, and I like that a lot. I think it does good for her character and does good for Daryl's character because now they're at a conflicted situation here, and Leah probably still wants to kill Maggie and is probably going to still come after Maggie, and that's going to force Daryl to probably have to kill Leah himself at some point, and I want him to get into that situation, and I hope he does end up having to do it. Again, I think that'll be great for his character. Now, once Maggie and Gabriel actually got inside, and then even eventually Negan and Elijah, they had some good action there. They had a couple good scenes. I wanted more though. Again, it's the same complaint I had before, like show more of it, because sometimes they shoot it in a way where it's kind of hard to see. There's a lot of cuts, it's a lot of up close shots. Don't give me that up close shit. Just don't. There was one shot though that I really liked where Maggie was kind of standing off with this one guy, and it was at a good distance. If they gave us a good fight with those two at that same distance, I would have been really happy. But of course, they do the same thing where they kind of go up close to them and you can barely see what the hell's happening. But I know why they do that. It's just to make it easier for them, which is obvious. And I liked how Gabriel shot a couple of them, and then they fell back because they were getting ready to shoot off their little firework launcher, which was a really cool device. And that's how the episode ends. The fireworks come flying at them, and we're going to see what happens. It's going to be a crazy scene, I'm sure. Hopefully it's really good. Hopefully this is going to be fucked up, but I really hope Elijah dies. I know Maggie's people all basically died. It would be kind of weird to kill literally every single one of them off, even the last one that's alive, really, which I believe he's one of the last ones alive. But I want to see some stakes here. I want to see some consequences to what they do. I want to see people die. I want to see sad shit happen, or at the very least have his leg blow off or something. I don't know, something interesting to keep up the tension and make this cliffhanger worth it, because chances are the next episode's going to start with them just running away from the fireworks, and the fireworks just have a cool little scene exploding some walkers or something. It'd be cool. I want to see some consequences though, and that'll only really happen if someone at least gets injured to a great extent, and hopefully it's not Negan, obviously. I don't want Negan to get hurt. And I just don't think they would do that to Negan or Maggie, so I don't really expect it to. But Elijah, I mean, if he gets a leg blown off or something, I think that'd be cool. Having to try to get him home with a massive injury like that, I don't know, that'd be intense, and it would make for a crazy sequence. And yeah, it's pretty much the whole episode. I liked them killing Pope. I like how Leah did it. I like that a lot. But that's really it. It kind of just ended there. It was a fun little battle. It wasn't really a battle necessarily. It was more of an attack that had a little fight scene, but it wasn't anything too lengthy. I just, again, think it would have been more intense if more people were involved. But regardless, I enjoyed the episode. I gave it a 9 out of 10. That's a great score. Yeah. As a whole, I think this half season was kind of meh. It wasn't the best. It was very just above average. You know what I mean? Like, it was just passing the average mark into good territory, but it wasn't really that great, to be honest. That's just my opinion. I like this episode though. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I will see you all in my next one. Peace out.